Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mian Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mian Mosensia, available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mosensia has gotten great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, and heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, also on PayPal and Anchor FM. And for some great gift ideas, including pop sockets, hoodies, t-shirts, and more, go to Amazon.com/the Mike Wagner Show. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mian Mosensia and get some great books like Missing, Once, as well too. That's Amazon.com/Mian Mosensia, and order today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who started off as an actor and later became an award-winning author, national speaker, an executive career job search coach, and also a career innovator. That's a very lengthy title as well too. And has been a trained actor, got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, and offers a step-by-step guide to networking. So you don't have to act it out. All you do is network. It's been a big thing these days. And Nathan, his gentleman, will be telling you about how to do it in 20 minutes or so. And of course, like most, you say 15% or 15 minutes or anything like that. This guy will help you create a network agenda, construct key questions, and a thorough step-by-step process. 20 minutes or so, and it will give you more than 20 minutes of time. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful Colorado. He's all over the place. The very, very multi-talented, award-winning author and actor of 20-Minute Network Marketing, Nathan Perez. Nathan, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good morning, afternoon, and evening, Mike. I really appreciate that introduction. That was fantastic. Thanks so much. And thanks for having me on the show.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. And of course, thank you for taking 20 minutes out of your time. And if you want to, whoops, a little chair here don't want to tolerate the 20 minutes. So well, we'll give you 20 minutes and more as well, too. You can take as much time as you like. So, award-winning author, speaker, and executive career job search coach, and also a career innovator, and you're a trained actor, and you offer a step-by-step guide to networking. And you got a book called 20-Minute Networking Meeting that's on Amazon as well too. And before getting to all that, tell us how I first got started, Nathan.
Yeah, sure. Now, how I got started, you mean around the books, or just how I got started, all the way up to this point?
Let's just start from the very beginning, like with you starting off as an actor and then working your way up. So you've been a trained actor,
Right.
and love to hear about how you got started.
Yeah, so from college, in college, I studied theater arts with an emphasis in acting. I got my BFA, and then I moved to New York City. That was my first market. I was there about 10 years or so, and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually, working with the agencies out there, they kind of helped me and pushed me out to get out to LA. I spent some time out there, but as I was doing all this, I actually was developing kind of a business and professional career at the same time.
Oh, really?
You may have heard, right, that some of us entertainers have to have a second job or like a day job to kind of survive as you go along. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really great at food service, and it made sense to start working. It made sense to start maybe
Oh
working
my
in
gosh.
business.
As soon as it says food service, I was about to get hungry, but then when he didn't recommend, it's like, uh-oh, I lost my appetite.
Yeah, or at least not me bringing it to you. Yeah. So I started developing my professional side of things, and as things went forward, I ended up working in lots of day jobs. It started actually through temp agencies. I'm just around 30 different day jobs.
Hmm.
But over the course of time, when I decided to kind of let go of the acting, and I discovered, I think I really want to write full time. I had been writing this entire time. I put down the acting, started writing, and I was working in a particular industry that's called it's the executive search industry.
Hmm.
That's an industry in which firms are hired to find new executive leadership for other companies. And I met who is my co-author, and she had a couple of ideas for books she knew that I had been writing, and networking was one of the topics, and I jumped all over it because the 20 years that I was in the entertainment industry, as people have heard, it's all about who you know.
Right.
Networking was key. And as it turns out, when it comes to job search and career development, it is also key. In fact, it's key to just about everything. So, wrote the first book that was for executives that eventually turned into a total of 4 editions. And bless it, really fortunate. Across those 4 titles, won about 10 national and international book awards around them.
Wow.
And that brings us up to date. And these days, I'm an executive career coach. I help people who either lose their jobs or hoping to transition or kind of promote their own career
Hmm.
into new things. And I'm a professional speaker in the career space.
Hmm. That is very amazing. And coming from the acting background and working your way up to being an executive job coach. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing today? So you think about what was that one moment that simply said to you, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, that's a really great question. It was a moment in which I helped someone with their resume. I had been dealing with my own resume and helping some other people, just as friends do. But this was a really senior executive that was pretty visible in a really, really big company that's very
Mm.
familiar to all of us. And as I worked on it, I realized that I really knew what I was talking about and how to put
Wow.
something into perspective. Yeah. And once I gave that resume back, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything quite like this." And I thought, maybe I do know something about this after all these years of going into it myself. And that was the click. That was it for me.
Wow, that is something. Of course, I'm not gonna ask who it was, what company, and everything like that. So, and of course, it's confidential and everything, but I can probably figure out quite a number. We'll just leave it to the imagination, they say. And of course, getting into acting as well too. Who are some of your favorite actors growing up, and also maybe some movies as well too, or theater?
Oh, hey, wow. Yeah. So actors. Well, I'm a Al Pacino fan, Ian McKellen. A lot of the guys and girls that came out of the Royal Shakespeare Company, you can kind of name them. They were all real favorites of mine. But especially folks that tend to be like the stage actors first, and then go into film. There aren't that many of them. Almost all of those people, in one way or another, are kind of my favorites, just because I knew their work ahead of time on stage before they ended up in film and television, and it makes it kind of a real favorite to see how they transform going from stage material into the television and film medium.
Mhm. And of course, talking about the transition as well too, as you get into writing, who are some of your favorite authors and writers growing up?
So John Irving is a real favorite author of mine. I love all of his books, and Ken Follett or Ken Follett. I hear his name 2 different ways.
I
I still don't know which one
I
it is.
I think I heard it's Follett, like in Follett Publishing. That's what I've heard. It's Follett. Unless you're in French, it's like Follet, or in Canada or something. It's like, as far as I know, it's Follett. I could be wrong.
Could be, but he wrote a book called The Pillars of the Earth, and it's that guy. Those are easily my two favorite authors. And there's also, oh, her name is just slipping my mind at the moment, but she wrote the book Their Eyes Were Watching God. If you
Their
know
eyes
this
are
book,
watching God. Hmm.
yeah, it was written in 1937. She was a black author, and it's a phenomenal book, maybe about 200 pages long, and the phrasing and the dialogue is just unbelievable. So if you haven't seen or heard that book, it's really worth it. Real short and it's very impactful.
And what's the name of it again for our listeners and viewers?
Their eyes were watching God.
Their eyes were watching God. So we urge
Yeah.
everybody to get the book and everything. How about some of your other favorite books growing up?
Boy, let's see. Other favorite books. When I was really little, and this is something that I taught my kids to read on, was Charlotte's Web. I love that
Amazing
book.
book. That's one of my son's favorites, Charlotte's Web. He even did the pig as well too, and did an amazing job. The main character. I mean, boy, he loves
Yeah.
Charlotte's Web so much.
In fact, we love this so much in our family that our little dog is named Charlotte. And
Really?
one of the kids decided we're going to name her Charlotte, and that's how she got her name.
Oh my gosh. I think we'll name our next dog or cat Charlotte as well too, and our Charlotte Web, and you guys as well too. Yes, I'm writing
Yeah,
this down in the meantime. So, and of course, also being important with more on networking and more on, writing and everything. We'll talk more about the book, 20-minute networking meeting with Nathan Perez in just 1 minute. First, to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today of 4 Girls Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, and heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also support us on PayPal and Anchor FM. And for some great gift ideas, including t-shirts, hoodies, pop sockets, and a lot more, go to Amazon.com/the Mike Wagner Show. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia and order your copy of Missing and also his great books today. So Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Order right now. We're here with author Nathan Perez of 20-minute networking meeting here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, tell us a bit about the book and what inspired you to write it. And if you did in 20 minutes, I mean, I'll be surprised. So
Right. So the book is very specifically, at least in this way, it's geared toward people who are in job search or career development. But I'll go through the steps here in a minute to kind of explain what it's all about.
Mhm.
But and once you hear it, you'll understand that this can be used for any kind of networking. As it turns out, pretty much all networking, there are different purposes, there are different outcomes, but all networking is still the same when it comes down to it. And so the book itself, what we did is, because we knew that it was very, very important for job search and career development. My co-author, Marcia Ballinger, she was already very, very aware of this because of her own industry at the time, which was the retained executive search industry. And I had been in that industry for about 5 or 6 years at that point. But then pulling from my entertainment background, we just knew this was going to be very important to get out there. But we've had so many networking experiences on our own that did not go well, both on
Mm.
our side, but especially on the other side. Usually when people get into a networking meeting, it's just all over the map. No one really knows how to handle it, what to do, what to say, or how much time to take. And when it comes to time, time tends to be the deciding factor of people accepting a request.
Mhm.
And it's because, sometimes people get burned. Someone says, "Hey, Mike, I just need 20 or 30 minutes of your time," but the next thing you know, it's an hour later, and it
Oh,
feels like,
yeah,
"Oh my."
we've been there. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's really hard. And you get 1 or 2 of those, and by the time you get a third request, even though you want to help, you don't feel like maybe you should take that meeting because it's not a good use of the time.
Mhm.
So we ended up building this book. And what we did is we took the 5 most important parts of a meeting and then assigned time limits to them. Would you like me to go through those steps?
Absolutely. And there's people out there looking for jobs right now, or looking to network, or about to go on a search or transition. I think this is very important right now, especially during these times, Nathan. So if you go through 5 steps, that would greatly help everyone appreciate as well too. And of course, we're always networking all the time, always changing. I love to hear it.
That's right. And exactly as you said. So before I get into this, I should probably kind of ride your coattails there on the point that you made. We are always networking all the time. And this book will transform and completely redefine what networking is to you.
Mhm.
There's networking has a negative connotation that kind of comes with it. And what happens is we sort of pin behaviors to this word. So we kind of think it's salesy, or it's about name dropping, or it's about, that greasy, slick and smooth kind of networking. And really it's not. What networking really is just about, excuse me, it's just about the obtainment of information
Mm.
and the exchange of information. So these steps are all designed to help you garner that kind of information that helps you with your job search or career development. So the first step, there are a total of 5 steps. And there are a few different components to each one of these steps, but I'll kind of keep it high level. The first step is very simple. And before I even begin, I'm going to say all of this is going to sound very familiar to everybody
Mhm.
because we are actually doing this stuff all the time. So the first step is a great first impression of you. That's just a couple of minutes long. It's a bright smile and a firm handshake, right? And eye
Mhm.
contact. And then the second step is about a 30 to 60-second snapshot of your background. We call it the great overview.
Mhm.
Um, and that great overview is probably one of the most critical parts of any kind of meeting, because what you're doing is you're not just giving someone an understanding of what you know how to do and what your experience is, but you're actually also providing context
Mhm.
for your great discussion, which is the next step. Okay, so that's step number 3, the great discussion. And the great discussion is actually broken down into 5 key questions. The first 3 are very specifically formulated for your contact by the research that you have done ahead of the meeting. Because, of course, you would never really hold a networking meeting with somebody believing that they could help you when you know nothing about them,
Mhm.
right? So you
Right.
have to do your research on the person and, of course, their organization. So the first 3 questions are for them. The fourth question is, and this is where networking, this is what throws networkers, and yet it's a major objective of your overall networking, and that is asking for more people to meet with,
Mm.
more names. And usually there's a lot of fear around that. No one wants to give names, or it's uncomfortable and it's weird and so forth and so on. But you got to
Right.
remember, if someone said yes to your meeting in the first place, it's because they wanted to help you. So they're likely to help you with that. It's also a networking meeting. When it comes to this kind of meeting, that's a question that's sort of expected to be asked. Plus, people are asking this question all the time with everybody in every industry, every experience level out there. So you can feel confident and okay asking that question. The fifth question of step number 3, and this is the big one. So if that last one throws us as a networker, this is the one that really surprises your contact. And that question is, how can I help you?
That's a
Okay,
very good
now,
point. Very good point. How can I help you? I think that's the most important one. I agree.
absolutely, it is a game changer. The first book in this of all the 4 editions was written almost 10 years ago, and I still get emails all the time about the power of this question and what it does. But we also have to kind of remember, networking is not about that slick and smooth stuff. The real cornerstone of networking is relationship building. Okay,
Mhm.
that's where the key is. And this question it changes it all. That's what really helps develop the relationship. It sends a signal of this is not all about me and take, take, take. This is about both of us. So thank you so much for all the help you've given me. Is there a way that I can help you in return? So
Mm.
that's key question number 5 of step number 3. And then step number 4 is wrapping up the meeting. And step number 5 is following up afterward. That's it. And like I said, all this stuff is probably very familiar to everybody, but just hasn't had the process or the practice behind it.
Mm. That is interesting. I mean, you've did it in like about less than 20 minutes. I was keeping track of time, and that is amazing what you did. Amazing.
Thank you very much.
And of course, you do a good job of creating a network to keep things on track, and of course, expanding the network and professional background, 60 seconds or less. When you talk about the whole thing with give us a 30 to 60 seconds, in a way, it's like you're kind of doing an ad of yourself.
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of so when you give that great overview that I was talking about, that snapshot of your background, that is very specifically constructed, and in a way, it is a little bit like an ad of yourself because you're talking about your experiences as it relates to this opportunity that you are seeking, and then the overall meeting itself, the way that it's structured out. Yeah, a lot of people actually walk away leaving the impression with their contacts that, it's a tight meeting, that they know exactly what they're doing and they know exactly what they are after. And that in and of itself is the sales. You should never really go and try and sell yourself. That's not something that you do. When you talk about and articulate your background and experiences in a way that other people really understand, that is the salesmanship all on its own, just your experience.
And not just sales, but also looking for a job or landing the next opportunity, or say with you're interested in getting a product. It applies just about everything you do.
That's right. Yeah, it really does. And this networking right now, we're kind of talking about a job search and career development. But networking in and of itself is arguably the most important skill to have in all of business. And the reason why is it touches every single aspect of business, from employee hiring to internships and sales and business development and marketing, and then, of course, job search and career development. It's all about relationships, right? If it involves people, then it involves relationships. And if the cornerstone of networking is relationship building, then networking is involved in literally every single thing that we do. Now, having said that, networking again, right, is all it is about the obtainment or the exchange of information. And if that is the case, that means every single discussion that we ever have is kind of networking
Hmm.
because that's all that it is.
Hmm. And that's fantastic as well, too. The fact that you network just about anytime, anywhere, and how much do you think social media has helped out when it comes to networking?
Quite a bit. Well, I think social media, what that has allowed, what the technology itself has allowed, is the facilitation of being able to actually connect people. But from there, it's really kind of up to us. The tech can only get us that connection, but once we're there, we're responsible for developing the relationship, establishing or reestablishing contact with people, and then getting to know people from there. So the tech is fantastic, but it's still on us to develop the relationships.
That's very true too. And how does your networking method differ from the other networking methods out there too? Like say now, or maybe 5, 10, even like say 20, 30 years ago.
Uh, that's a good question. Now, the big difference is that it's more intentional. Now, you are being you have done your research, and from your research, you develop very specific questions for people. And then when you reach out and you have this meeting, you're being very conscious and respectful of time. And then when you get to the very end of things, you're asking, how can I help in return? A long time ago, what it might have been was, sitting down with someone for an hour and thinking that the longer the time I spend with somebody, the better that's going to be for me. But that's not honoring time. That's not being prepared, and it kind of goes all over the place. It's not structured and intentional. So a pretty big difference these days. And the purpose of the book, to keep it at 20 minutes, is to kind of keep things on track. Make sure that you're there to talk about what you want to talk about, and then that's it. It's not like back in the day when you were just hope to kind of pick someone's brain for an hour, like they had that time. We live in a faster world. This is designed to be able to handle the faster pace of business.
And of course, how can we pick up the book as well too? Where can we find your book?
You can find the book on Amazon. You can find it on the Kindle app. You can find this on iTunes. You can get it at Barnes and Noble. In fact, you can order it from just about any bookstore as well. And if you're interested in audiobook, you can find that on my website. That is nathanaperez.com. And by the way, it is voiced by me. It'll sound familiar.
Now, did you do this in 20 minutes? Be honest.
Yeah, record the whole book in 20 minutes. No, well, we might have
I'm
recorded
kidding.
about half a chapter in 20 minutes, right?
Yes, a disclaimer. Don't take it literal, folks.
Yeah, right. Right.
And what's coming up for Nathan Perez? After a 20-minute networking meeting, on the Mike Wagner Show. We'll find out in just a minute. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Motzenzia of Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with author Nathan Perez of the 20-minute networking meeting after this timeout. We're back with author Nathan Perez of the 20-minute networking meeting here on the Mike Wagner Show. He covered just a lot of the books, and also award-winning author, speaker, network executive, career coach, and everything, and offering step-by-step. He went over the details very greatly, and also how can people come to you for job advice, and how can they reach you?
You can reach me through LinkedIn. You can also reach me through the website, nathanaperez.com. There's also a dedicated website for the books themselves. That's 20mm.com, as in 20-minute networking meeting. And either one of those contact pages, you can actually reach out to me. And I'm happy to chat with you.
Sounds great as well, too. And what can you expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Nathan?
Expect from me in 2021 and beyond.
2021 and beyond, yes. And you don't have to do it in 20 minutes either. So,
yeah, I'm not sure I could fill that 20 minutes with that. It's pretty succinct. Well, I do quite a bit of speaking. You're going to see some stuff popping up on LinkedIn and probably YouTube. And I'm also working on 2 more books. One of them is going to be kind of a companion book to the 20-minute networking meeting, where you get into a little more depth. Again, redefining networking and what it really is, and how to build relationships in that way. And then another one, I'm going to kind of go back to my roots a little bit and dive into some fiction.
nice. And what kind of fiction are we looking to expect from you?
In this case, this is a book that I'm actually going to write for my boys. I've been collecting notes for about the past 10 years, and I'm just now starting to organize them. And it's going to be a little bit sort of like a life lesson book about
Wow.
what things look like, at the age that they are now, and kind of things to expect as life goes on.
Okay, that's very amazing. We're looking forward to that. We'd love to have you back on in 2021 and beyond with a lot of great updates from you. And we're here with author Nathan Perez of the 20-minute networking meeting here on the Mike Wagner Show. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Nathan?
In my career, boy, here's the thing, Mike, that I have literally had 3 to 4 completely full careers. So when I started as an actor, I had some agents and some just fellow actors who were the biggest inspiration to me. They aren't necessarily famous people, but people who work all the time. And on the business side, of all places that I ended up working, my first professional job happened to be in the general counsel's office at Goldman Sachs in New
Wow,
York City. Yeah,
amazing.
and then eventually that was moved into the executive office, where I was one of the executive assistants to Henry Paulson when John Corzine was leaving as CEO.
Wow.
And I learned quite a lot from the folks in that office, in professional ways, but also personally. And then fast forward through the years, because of all the different industries I've had the opportunity to work in, there are a few different authors. Let's see, there were 2 or 3 of them. Is there one that I can name that would be good and not embarrassing? Maybe I should just leave that one alone. Um,
Don't worry about it.
but to be real honest with you, I kind of hesitate to use the word heroes, but in a sense, they're kind of heroes, and there's multiple. I don't have just a single one or two. I've seen amazing people in different industries do amazing things, and all of it has been inspiring to me.
That is very inspiring as well, too. Not just one, but several. I mean, you lived a really good life, I gotta say, Nathan. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Have confidence that other people want to help. Have confidence that other people want to talk to you too. I'm asked a question a lot of times, what happens when I go to a social event or a networking event? I'm the wallflower. Well, I get that, because believe it or not, even though I may sound the way that I sound, I am an introvert as well.
Hmm.
For those of you that are introverts, I am a hardwired introvert. What defines an extrovert is someone who recharges and they get their energy when they've been around people, right? And by contrast, an introvert is defined as someone who recharges and gets energy when they are someone who has a sufficient amount of time to self-reflect.
Hmm.
And that would be me. So when you're at a networking event or when you're out there just in the world, have discussions with people, because when you feel like a wallflower at such an event, believe it, you can be assured that if you just look around the room, most of the other people at that event feel the same way. And if you've ever felt relieved that someone will come up and talk to you, say the first words, and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna start get going. Now I'm gonna be able to get into conversation. Well, you can be that person. Be bold, go out there, have the conversations. You will be pleased as to how pleased other people are to discuss with you and how they'll be willing to help you in just about any way that you'd like.
That is fantastic advice. I'm learning a lot from you, Nathan. And of course, we're here with author Nathan Perez of 20-Minute Networking Meeting here on the Mike Wagner Show. Nathan, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your books?
Yes, you can find the books on Amazon, iTunes, the Kindle app. You can order it from your bookstore. You can find the audiobook on my website, nathanaperez.com, or on the book website, 20mm.com. Keep an eye out. I'm going to be developing a new book. It's a companion book to the 20-minute networking meeting that's going to get into a little more depth on this mystery of networking. And yeah, and in maybe about a year or so, I'll be on that fiction book that's for the boys, that life lessons book. So you can also find me on LinkedIn. Send me a note there or link with me there.
Sounds good. We're looking forward to it. Once again, Nathan, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021. And don't forget to keep in touch. And we'll do it again in about 20 minutes or another 20 minutes and another 20 minutes. And we'll just keep going and going and going.
That's right. Thanks again, Mike. Thanks for having me on the show.